check. Hanging out. We're live.
We're live.
Hey, everybody. It's the Fourth Ring Podcast, our second ever live episode, hanging out in the basement of Prime Manor. Steve has a rolling estate of 5,000 acres with a 5-car garage.
Winter is coming!
And you believe that? I got Atlanta, Florida.
In one garage, he's got a beat-up golf cart and then a beat-up Ford Tempo that he uses to get to work every day. I think he rents out the other 3 garages. I don't know how. I think this is actually not his house. So we better get the show going before anybody knows. But the fancy digs, bro. I don't know how you got us in here, but this is nice. I like it.
Yeah, I have a master key, so we're
I've never seen so much Cristal.
Hey, there's a liquor.
They're drinking their liquor too.
I was gonna say there's a liquor cabinet over here. Let's get into this. This is gonna be great. I love it. All right.
Nice decanter.
Yes.
Tonight, everybody can describe the drink in as moonshine, and we'll just call it at that.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So it's our second ever live edition of the Fourth Ring Podcast. And we have decided. I know, right? I know. We had a lot of positive.
Move over.
We had a lot of positive reviews over Kevin's
3 feet over
interrogation of 3 feet. We had a lot of positive reviews over.
That's 36 inches. He's at 37.
Well played, Stephen. Well played.
Kevin's almost grown up.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to hit puberty one day. And fuck you all.
And hair.
Mr. Fucking wear my high school clothes still. I hate you.
So we're going to do something different tonight. We're actually going to do our live hotties, basically live. We haven't even prepared anything tonight, so it's going to be all off the ass. I mean, off the cuff right now. So
your ass.
Well, it's sexy ass.
Where's your ginger ale, Fag?
Okay. You just.
Why are we picking women off a man's hairy earth? That's my question.
It ain't hairy.
Yeah.
If you push back.
It ain't hairy. So, we also you haven't told who's here actually.
Yeah, well, you interrupted me, you fuckers. I was in the middle of my rip.
He
You guys
interrupted
started
as
chirping.
usual.
All right, here we go.
I'm just a fucking guest.
Ladies and
You've done this
gentlemen,
twice,
just stay with me.
usual.
I'm the voice of reason. So,
God
Okay.
help us all.
in the house tonight, we've got Kevin.
The fucking
You had to
legend.
think. Yeah, I see him pausing.
No, I was making eye contact so he'd know to chirp in. And we got Brother Dave.
Sure.
There you go. He's hanging in.
Just
And-
snuffle up.
And our webmaster and my little buddy, Newt.
Okay, I'm not Gilligan. And you're not. Well, you know what? You
I
are a
know. I
skipper.
knew that was
You
coming.
are a
That's
skipper, though.
why I never ever
It's
did the
Skipper. It's Skipper.
That's
Look.
why I never ever did
No.
the Gilligan's Island thing, because I knew that was going to come.
Hold on, you say you've never done the Gilligan's Island thing, but you're dressed like fucking Skipper. So
I'm dressed like Eddie Bauer's
Oh,
fucking.
please.
He just missing the hat. He
catalog,
just
bro.
missing the hat.
Exactly. You're one hat away from smacking him over the head and going, "You're stupid, little buddy." I don't care about those Tahitian headhunters.
Walked into my deck.
You could have come up with a better story. With
Yeah,
the birds,
that
right?
shit happens. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm sorry. Were you guys done?
No,
making
actually, you
noises?
just reminded me of that old commercial with the wife beating. Where it was, I walked into a door handle.
I'm falling out. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
fellow woman.
So we're gonna go into our hotties tonight. I don't know what the fuck you guys are babbling about.
Our hotties
And
are going to be
the
tonight.
hottie selection tonight is going to be. What were you gonna say?
Sexiest voice on television or radio.
Oh,
Ooh, that's interesting.
Don't worry about what she looks like, just what voice makes you go.
I got mine right away. I got
God.
mine already.
All right. So do I.
Sexiest voice. I gotta
Dr.
go. Whoa, Jesus, really?
Dr. Bruce.
Yeah.
Gotta tell you, fair play, but more than a little fucking creepy.
You know, you
Well,
got
at least it wasn't Judge Judy.
You got it.
So,
But you gotta know, Dr. Ruth has got to know her way around a penis.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
You
I'll
know?
give you that. Yeah.
I would think she'd be like, "Okay, come here, little Dave. I'm now going to titilize you from the bottom of your yeah."
You must let the donut rings cool down before you throw them on the penis. Otherwise, they will burn.
All right. Well, that was fun. So no, I'm gonna go with sexy voice as Scarlett Johansson because she did the voice of the snake in the new Jungle Book movie. And she
Okay, fair
also
play.
she did the voice of what was that Joaquin Phoenix movie? Not Joaquin. Was it Joaquin Phoenix? That was his name?
Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix. The
Well, let me tell you a story when
software.
we're off the air about that.
the software fucking movie Her. It's called Her, where he buys a software program
Yes. Yeah.
and she's the voice.
That's
and
right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah,
So
'cause he's got
And she's
that-
also very hot.
the epitome of the sexiest female narrative, where she's slowly getting to know the guy, and just every single line that came out of her mouth.
So you're pulling this purely off the fact, and I don't disagree with you, a very, very sexy voice that woman has. But you're pulling this purely off the fact that her voice is so sensual, as opposed to the fact she has really big fucking jokes.
She doesn't. She's a little tiny girl.
She's a C.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
She's
C is
not.
huge.
I'm
C's
sorry.
big.
No.
C's oh yeah,
Sorry.
she is.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
H's are big.
You know, if I
Good
what's
God.
I like that game. I know a girl.
what's the name?
Dave, get off your fucking phone.
Hey,
while we're
Brad Pitt's
online.
character in Fight Club. What's his name?
I don't know. That's my wife's
Tyler
job.
Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Remember his line? You don't know where I've been,
Ashley,
man. You don't know where I've been. C is not big. You don't know where I've been.
You know, I've watched that movie 4 times. I don't remember that line at all.
when the Italian restaurant owner shows up and starts beating him up, and he doesn't fight back.
He can call these guys off TV shows and movies, but can't remember
You don't know where I've
Wallet
been,
is,
man.
Right? You can call all these stuff off TV and radio, but that's where his wallet is? I don't know.
All right, so we got yours now, Michael.
That and keys.
Now
He's even worse.
I'm very curious. What's yours? Sexiest voice. The voice that makes you go boing.
I've already picked her once, so I'll pick her again.
Oh, sorry, it has to be a female.
It is a female.
Okay.
Nice try. Game of Thrones, Amelia Clark. I've seen her interview
Really?
with her fucking English accent. She just has that, not heavy one, but just.
Oh no, she's got
Oh.
this pretend tough
Oh, no.
English accent like
Oh.
she's from the South and she's not.
Oh, no, I just like that
Oh,
accent.
you see, I hate that pretentious cunt sound that comes out of her mouth.
It's okay. I show up with a full cock. It's great.
Yeah, that's fair
Oh
enough.
my goodness!
It's live. I don't give a
There's
shit.
no way to speak of the fucking Queen of Dragons, man. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, she's not here. I'm safe.
Plus the fact, her only reply is
She'll Dracarys your weenie and have it on a whole wheat bun.
Swallow or
exactly. Once the nose is plugged, there's no more comments.
Did you guys see that movie Hardcore Henry? I was telling you about
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's good.
Yeah, like I told you, I don't mind the premise of it, and I actually like the plot of the movie, but I found visually it was not my cup of tea.
Oh man, that was
It
amazing.
was. They actually had to get GoPro to give them some redesigns on rigging to get it to work for them.
It was a GoPro movie,
It was partially
Oh,
GoPro, and the other
yeah.
one, they had a bunch of GoPro actually helped.
only
them.
because you made the deep throw comment, and there was that scene where the fucking
Yes.
Yeah.
the chief of police and his
Yeah.
2 deputies had the
Yeah.
chick, and they were about to stick I don't know what
Oh, yeah.
in her throat there.
No,
and
it's
she's like,
good. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched it. The trailers for
It's all in your head.
Like I said to you, I love the idea of it. I just found for myself it was so what's the term? It was like
Thank you.
Blair Witch Project, where it was so shaky that I found
Too
it
strong, son?
disconcerting for trying to follow a plot line.
I mean, I'm not a big fan, and Jason Bourne's really bad for this. The
yes,
fight, the
exactly.
fight sequences are
Yeah.
so close.
Yes.
I want to admire it.
exactly.
I don't want to see
Exactly.
I can't. My brain
The very
is fast.
the very first Born,
Was decent. It actually
Yeah,
the
wasn't that
director
bad.
knew martial arts, and he did because you
That
saw
was the difference.
Yes.
you could
Yes.
see every move.
You could
The other
step back
directors.
and you could
But it
see
worked.
flow.
But it worked.
The
It
other
was a
directors
flow.
weren't martial artists, and their
And
way
anything
was
that
like,
fast-
"Oh, flurry, let's
Yeah.
shake the camera."
No,
Far
shake the
too
camera.
much.
It's not the shake camera. It's the fast cuts, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work. It just
Yeah, the
it's,
part-
Well, it was
scene
like
where it gets
having
in the-
having that PO view
Paris.
of when you're actually in a fight.
Mhm.
And
You don't
magazine.
remember yourself your movements in a fight.
Yeah.
And that loses that flow to it. Whereas
To a
if you
degree.
can take that step back and even come back 5 or 6 foot, where you can see a flow of motion, then it becomes just
Well,
absolutely awesome.
all that work the guy did in that show was basically live. There was no CGI in it, so everything he did was stunt. So wire work, or whatever. So
Let's try to maintain, as much as this is really cool shit and we all love it, a pathetic attempt at maintaining on topic.
He
So I got
started again.
Scarlett Johansson, and you picked who?
I mean,
what do
Amelia
you mean?
Clark?
Did
And
you
who did
say
you
I
got?
stole it again?
Who did you pick?
no, you got sidetracked. It's okay. So we're gonna bring back on track and go back to you and say, who's your pick?
Constance Zimmerman.
Who?
Constance Zimmerman.
Constance. I don't hear Constance when I hear that, but okay, who's that?
She has the sexiest voice in radio, television, movies, anything. You guys are sci-fi guys, so
Mhm.
Marvel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Coulson's love interest before she gets a
Oh,
Hey,
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
She does the.
She does have a sensuality about
Yes,
her.
Oh,
she
No
has
doubt.
that. She does
Yep.
the. I forget what the name of the character is, but the dancing sexy orca on BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, see, I don't watch that
I
one.
don't
So
even know what that is.
I know of it. I don't watch it.
You poor people.
I'm.
But she just has one of those voices. It's
Some
like,
of us have
it's
jobs
like
and
Demi
shit, you know?
Moore when she was.
Happens.
I technically have a job.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah,
It's
uh-huh.
not
Yeah,
really-
going to the beach playing your
Did we
guitar
discuss
and
what
shit.
hasn't puberty yet? So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so that's not you. Big Dave,
Once.
is Dr. Ruth actually your choice, or do you have a favorite? Like,
It
come on.
has to be. He's still rubbing his crotch.
One woman who opened her mouth and you're got, interested.
I'm still going with Dr. Ruth.
Dr.
You
Ruth.
got to speak up, son. The mic's over there.
Still going with Dr. Ruth.
Okay, Dr. Ruth. So you like that kind of Swedish accent thing she's got going on?
Well, it's a
actually
dominance thing. Kind of
Jewish.
makes you stand up and pay attention, and
No, you need to
The
follow.
German
You need to
accent
follow
thing or
direction
whatever it
from
was.
her, right?
Well, yeah.
So in other words, she would be your dom.
So Dave needs direction from.
no, but I like it.
Well, that's kind of the idea. Yeah.
I don't need
yeah.
direction.
Oh, that's
You just-
hey,
you like
fair
it.
point. Fair point.
So
Yeah, because there is a big difference. So well played.
if Dr. Ruth said, get on your knees and put this ball in your mouth and put this gimp suit on, you'd be good to go. That's
Not necessarily.
No.
but
No,
I
he
like
would.
hearing it.
He would not just jump into that. He would say, "Yes, my 76-year-old mistress, please make me your bitch."
No, I would ask if you have a bottle of oil first.
And that's the important thing. You've got to go for comfort.
I know.
So
Those things chafe.
I appreciate it.
Okay, well, we beat the
There's
shit out of that
nothing
one.
more
So
than
before
what
Kevin
we
goes
need.
off on his
need
mad
slippage.
rant, let's carry
Right,
on
Steve?
with the
You need
next
slippage.
topic. Slippage. Key.
Most girls I know
Always
are
key.
soaking wet when I actually plunge. So
No, I mean in the suit. You need
So we're
oil.
gonna stick
Oh, yeah,
with.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yes,
no,
of course, they're soaking.
They
wet
chafe.
before
Oh,
you
yeah.
actually plunge because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
just finished.
What did you call it? The cat wrangler. Cat wrangler. That's right. Cat
Good
wrangler.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
So
give you that one. I deserve that.
So we're gonna keep it to an hour today because we gotta party and get fucking hammered tonight, and that's kind of the plan. So before
Or
we get
this
there,
could actually stay on all night. as we drink.
No,
Yeah.
no, we're not here. Mike sing again. Or even worse.
fuck, I'll sing. Can you imagine?
Enough. Mute.
How much I love you?
Oh, stop
Okay.
it! Those poor dogs have got their paws over their ears.
Remember that? It was like a steak commercial. Remember the cow in the field? I know the only one for me. Could ever be you. All right. So what we're going to talk about for tonight, our topic is simply things that happened this past week that have interested us. Now, I
Okay.
have seen some fascinating shit on YouTube that kind of shocked me. Heard from a dude at work who read a book called "Don't Make the Black Kids Angry." Kind of heavy shit. Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Can I ask you a quick question?
If you must.
Normally, you always say, no politics, none of that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that kind of put aside for tonight for a live
no,
one?
No, please don't, because I've already lost 2 friends over that in the last week and a half.
Yeah. I just wanted to know because if we're talking about things that are live,
Well, we can still talk about
point of view.
we can still talk about world events, but
I don't like
you
that.
know, well, you just brought up politics. You're not supposed to say that.
brought up.
You said it.
No, I have to.
Done.
No,
We're good.
in fairness,
Well, we'll
that's-
just stumble through and see what
That's
happens.
technically not
Oh, no.
politics.
For someone to have that narrow of a point of view that they can't appreciate what the other person is saying, whether they agree or not,
Oh
is
no.
mind
Oh
blowing.
no.
And they
I
were
appreciate
never
they
really
said.
your friends, Steve.
No, I appreciate what they said.
They didn't like
hear
you
what
for
I
you.
said, and that's where they say I'm narrow.
Therein lies the problem.
They just wanted you for your
they
pretty
don't-
face.
and they don't understand that they all lost.
If
Fucking eyes.
if you were that indoctrinated into what you think and you can't listen to someone else's
Hmm.
opinion,
Yeah.
I
not
did
just
listen.
not from your side,
Some people
from
just
the
need
other
a man
side,
with a push-up
then
bra, you know.
just
Better
don't
stay
bother.
away from
Oh no, I mean, I apologize. I said, you know what? I have a strong belief that they all crooks.
I think
They
we've
all-
already
Whoa,
identified
whoa!
that,
Stop right fucking there.
okay, here we go.
No one ever apologizes for having a strong belief. You can have an apology for mistaking information, but you never, ever apologize to anybody for having a strong belief.
All
That's
right,
your independent thought, and if they don't like it, they can go take a long, hard suck of my arsehole.
yours and not mine, though, right?
They can take
There
a long,
it
hard
is.
suck of
Romance
anybody's
the
arsehole.
Boom, shakalaka,
Yes.
shakalaka,
Nobody
shakalaka.
should ever have to apologize for having a belief system.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
That's pretty
Oh, is that your Lemming song?
No, it's the he made a point and he was right. Well, there it is. I'm enforcing what he's saying.
Holy shit! I made a
Yeah.
point, and you accepted.
Whoa,
So-
whoa, write this down. He agrees with you? Whoa!
Go, Kevin.
Go, Kevin.
This is the first time, gentlemen and ladies that are listening, since 1992.
What day?
Could be
April
earlier
20th?
than that.
I believe it was May 22nd. But
Yeah.
maybe wrong on that.
Wasn't it April 1st?
So this week,
So what your stories were?
I got onto YouTube out of boredom with a little bit of free time,
Always on YouTube. by the
and
way.
I was shocked
That-
and trying to weed through the absolute between the fucktards out there who know how to put a sentence together and yet somehow have figured out how to put Windows Movie Maker together to make videos, but then somehow try to make comments about the Syrian or migrant crisis in Europe and coming up with news clips.
Mhm.
I got to tell you, man, after a half an hour of watching YouTube last night, I got the sense that Europe is being and like France and all overrun to the point where society is breaking down, that the only people subject to the rule of law are the actual citizens who lived there before.
Okay, I'm going to interject here.
It's fucking crazy.
And say right now, first off, you're sadly not that far off. And if you're talking about in Germany, yes, that is exactly the case. If you're talking about in Britain, not quite so far yet, but getting there.
And is that not what Brexit was about?
The whole idea
They're
of-
trying to get their country back by shutting down the EU mojo of letting everybody under the sun in.
Yes,
Yeah,
but that's only partially towards the actual immigration that you're talking about, of the economic migrants that are coming over from Syria and in the areas of the Middle East. It also has to do with pulling back your borders and deciding on who can come in from the actual EU. And that's more the open problem that's there right now. If you have a country, for instance, we'll say Romania, never should have been let into the EU, not remotely close to economically a strong partner or trading.
Keep going, keep going.
It never should have been brought into the EU. You can't compare the transfer of people or information or skill sets from Romania to Britain. It's night and day. It'd be the equivalent of taking Guatemala and making equal trading partner and crossing the borders with Canada. You can't do it. They're not remotely close enough. Unfortunately, with the EU, once they let in the we're going to call them fringe countries, for lack of a better term, which are on the Far East. You let those in, and they brought in a wealth of problems without a wealth of skills.
But you know why they let them in my opinion? The same reason that Canada. Now, mind you, Canada's been quite a bit more conservative. Relax. Canada's been quite a bit more conservative in bringing so many people in. Just let me make my point there. So we've been compared to fucking Germany with their 800,000 migrants.
Actually,
I think
it's a lot
Canada's
higher than that.
Yeah, exactly. So Canada's been relatively conservative. My point is, I think that while Canada, even back as far as Chrétien, always said that, look, here's the deal. The population in Canada, with our healthcare system as it is, the younger people, there's not enough people. They simply can't support the older generations and their healthcare needs that we need. So it's instant taxpayers, man. You can't tell me as much as they want to say, whether it's Merkel or whoever else. Come on, they all saw money. They all saw instant taxable income.
Actually,
they saw a bunch
disagree.
of. I don't. Let me finish my point. I believe
Merkel.
they thought they were getting a bunch of freebie drones who were running and filled with terror that were going to come in and line up and assimilate out of gratefulness that they're not getting blown up or no one's coming to get them. And what did they get? Oh, monkey. They did not
killings
get
and
that.
rapes and
Yeah, they can't let their kids out at night because the German
the
girls
whole-
are getting raped. The Swedish people are talking about leaving their own fucking country because they've been overrun.
But I have to disagree on why Merkel brought them in.
Okay, which country are you talking about again now?
Or Germany.
Don't care.
All of the EU.
Sure, it does matter immensely because Germany is.
We have our problems in our own country, and that's my major issue right now. We have
Okay.
so many immigrants coming into Canada, And all they're looking for, government-wise, is in our taxable person. They can actually say, "Here, give us money because you live in our country." Meanwhile, they're giving things hands over fist.
You see, I
And
personally,
I do not. I mean, if you
Yeah,
look,
but you can't have them in poverty where they're going to get pulled into the criminal element or.
But they don't need to come here either.
So, what would you not rather have someone come into the country? Because people are coming, dude. Where, you know what? I would much rather have them come in. Let's train them. Let's give them. If we can
Okay,
start them
that's
off at
fine.
a lower middle class, where
I
hey, you
agree.
know what? They get the flow. They
They-
have their living room. They get their fucking Xbox.
They can come
They know where
into
the
our-
liquor store is. They know where the. You know what I'm saying? They have a
Yeah,
job.
they can come
They
into our
get into the
country.
flow, and then they turn around and go, "Oh, damn, my life is so much better." As opposed to, "Oh shit, I'm in income housing and I can't let my kids go outside because you know what I'm
it's
saying."
fine. They can come into our country. That's not an issue.
You're
The
either
problem
they
is-
will come in and immediately part of the criminal element, or
The problem is that they come into our country and then apply their rules to our country, which is half the friggin' problem.
okay, so can I interject here? Are we talking about people that are immigrating or refugees? Because they're two very different stories. People that emigrate to a country.
I don't know. They're not. They're not different.
I
Oh,
don't
yes.
see- I don't see how
Yes, they are.
I don't see
There
how
we
it's
are.
different.
Two
Huge,
different kettles of fish.
huge different kettles of fish.
Why?
Because the person that emigrates to a country,
Given that some are being imposters
can I
as
finish it
others.
or no?
He's on a roll. So
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Just there's
So,
people.
If you're
perpetrating.
going to emigrate to a country, you put forth your paperwork. You say, I am going to emigrate to this country. This is why I want to emigrate to it. This is my skill set, etc. Now, let's, for instance, and we'll stick with the Middle East for the sake of making this a simple argument. If you have somebody that's coming from Syria that turns around and says, I'm a qualified doctor. I'd like to emigrate to Canada. I have a family. I have a wife and 3 kids. Now, I walk in as this immigrant, and I brought forward the argument that I have my papers as a qualified doctor, and I want to bring my wife, my 2 kids here. These
I get it. I get
are
it.
the
man.
type
I
of
get it.
immigrants
I get
that you
it. I get
absolutely
it.
want to
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
right?
I'm
So
not.
I guess we're talking about the people that have nowhere to go, that are
No.
coming in and wrecking shit.
But
And
here's
the waves of people. You know what
But
I'm
here's
saying?
the problem. Then you've got to describe between people that are actual refugees and people that are economic migrants. And this is where it really comes into play. A person that's a proper refugee from the Middle East is going to be very simple. First off, they're going to be Christian. Because to be a refugee, you have to be having a systematic attack against you as your belief system. If you're going to have a systematic attempt against your belief system, you have to have something that's against the belief of the major system. Or we can just drop it off now.
Right.
It's keep talking. No, go ahead. Keep talking. It's just that I can't speak on this because there's a few spots that's just sore in that. So
Keep going.
So my whole point is, if you're going to come across in the Middle East as somebody that's a refugee, you're escaping a system that is going to be, if you stay there, you're going to be either shot, pissed on, you're going to be hassled to some degree.
But they get their Sharia law, which apparently everywhere they go they want it.
No, this is my whole point. If you're leaving that system that's over there, the only way that you can be a technical refugee is if you come over and you come over as a Christian, because that's the minority over there that's being persecuted.
And that's the state of affairs?
Oh, very much so in the Middle East. So where did that source come from?
Get off of it. I can't.
Okay, so yeah, a little too heavy for drunk time with the cool kids. So we'll change gears on that. That was what I saw this week, and I thought to myself, okay, very heavy.
Fair enough.
Guy at work was reading a book called "Don't Scare the Cool Kids." Same author wrote another book called "The White Girls Bleed a Lot." The whole theme on those books were the whole idea that the black on everyone else, black on elderly, black on white, black on Asian, black on what the fuck ever crime is off the charts.
We are talking the U.S., right?
Yes.
Okay, that
In
also
the
goes
US.
with any of the LBQ GA where that freaking thing is too, because that's TV mainstream as well.
You see, the problem
What are you
is
talking about?
I didn't have an
Haven't-
issue.
You're talking about the
Lesbians,
lesbian,
gays,
gay,
yeah.
bisexual,
I mean, that's been
transsexual
off the
community.
charts
Did
now.
I get that
Almost
right?
Every show has to have
Yes.
on there now. They make an impact.
You-
They have
you-
included.
You know, the funny thing is, you actually just listed off 6 different types of people, and you listed them off perfectly for what they used to be up until 2 years ago. Now, just while we're sitting here, do me a favor and Google up what the lesbian, gay, transsexual, and bisexual grouping is called now, because it has 7 letters for its acronym.
Yeah,
my
it's
God.
huge.
Because it's gone so far that
It's LSL. I don't know. I can't remember.
yeah, it's not
it's
even
ridiculous.
it's not even a fun acronym
No,
anymore.
it's not.
It's become a bit of a piss take. Again, the problem with that is, and I mean, you know what, I've been to Gay Pride many a time. We were
Oh, I don't doubt you have.
last year I was
You're
in
a card-carrying member, aren't you?
last year I was in a float down there. Had a great time.
Yeah, but you went for the card that says, yeah, whatever.
I'm here for the drinks.
You want to play, you got to
And the
pay.
titties.
That's what my card would say. You want to play,
Greedy.
got to pay.
Just the greedy card. But we were down there, and you know, it came to the point where this year it has gone so extreme to. You have, for instance, World Health Organization is still debating about whether or not to consider transsexuals. Up until this point, it's been considered a mental health disease. Now they're debating about whether or not to consider it a mental health disease.
Ain't that a slippery slope?
Oh, for sure, especially when you're in that politically correct.
It's
spectrum.
also the same problem where they actually have the same couples trying to actually have rights for benefits in that too. I mean, it's only been the last maybe year
Yeah.
that has been authorized by some of them, not all of them.
And then you've got the landscape of mental health as well. I mean, there
Well,
are
the mental health issue. Is
no matter what
the
corner
whole
you're
one
in, there are
fascinates me.
clear-minded, lifestyle adjusted individuals who are living their lives, loving each other, taking care, want to bring some kids in the
And we're talking about
and-
gay and lesbians at this.
anybody, yes, gay, lesbian, transsexual,
No, we're not talking about
straight
transsexuals at
dudes,
this
whatever.
point. No.
I'm just saying, in any corner, there are the folks that are level-headed, want to get through their day, love their loved one, do their thing, and then there's the other ones.
So let me ask you a quick question. If I was to tell you about a mental health disorder, which is called,
What do you have, Kev?
it's
It's the micro penis syndrome.
no.
I know you've been working on this for a while.
I'd
You
love
wanted
to
to
talk
come up
about
with
you with this.
it. You
because
told me already.
I've had enough. Now
I,
you're picking on me.
Dave, sorry, Dave. We forgot the MCP as part of the lesbian, lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual, and straight. The straight micro penis dude.
Micro?
actually, you know
Wow,
what?
Really?
There's like 4 letters there.
I can make
Straight
this a lot
mic-
easier
oh,
for
Jesus.
Dave.
I am so tired of political correctness.
Dave,
I'm so
I
tired
am
of.
enamored with political correctness. I am fed up
I
with the
understand.
system. I'm fed up with the people that run the system. I am fed up with all of this fucking bullshit. Why can people not just run their own lives and everyone else stay the fuck out of everyone else's life instead
Agreed.
of fucking meddling?
Yeah.
That's what I would really
Okay.
like.
My other
But
issue
that is
too
always the
But
problem.
it's also the groups have to have a statement. You know, we had the Oscars or the Grammys, whichever one it was, that had no blacks nominated, and they're all uproar because there's no. Okay, well, it wasn't this year. It wasn't like we're picking on you. Like, I mean, I understand you have a voice, but I mean, for Pete's sake, stop getting off your bridges about something
If
that's
your
so.
voice is so great and you have that much talent, then you should have won.
No, hold on.
Other years,
I'm going to stop
they
this
win
right in the
more.
fucking butt.
whatever.
Okay.
Either you got talent or you don't.
I'm pretty fucking liberal. God knows more than a lot liberal that makes you comfortable with money. But
And he just cringed.
I think I'm about to agree with you, but finish your point.
But I will say this. If, we'll say, for instance, in the United States, 13% of the population is black. You're complaining about not having enough black representation at the Oscars.
Who is?
Well, the black community.
black-
Oh, they are.
community,
Okay.
yes.
Well, you said you, so and then you looked at
Yeah,
me,
sorry.
Sorry.
and I'm just.
Um,
Well, the African Americans, they call themselves.
Yes.
you know what? You want to call it what you want, and
I'm
this is a whole different kettle of fish, which drives me nuts because
People of
I do
color?
not want to play
Well,
the.
that's not fair. 'Cause
No, we
folks
can't
from-
even play the fucking semantics on color, and here's why: because you go over to South Africa and you got people that are you're saying, "Oh, well, you're black." No, I'm not. I'm colored. Well, I'm not allowed to use the term colored overseas. Well, I am colored because I'm not black. I'm a half caste. You know what? You can't even.
Yeah, but I
choose
got
to-
friends from India who have been at war with Islam for fucking hundreds of years,
Uh-huh.
and you know, like Honestly, I
Exactly.
think if anything, us closed-minded white folks need to wake up a little bit and say, "Hey, there's a big fat fucking world out there of all kinds of different cultures." And I mean,
Yes, and a lot of those
why do the
cultures
Indians
don't
wear the
like us.
ceremonial dagger? I mean,
And
I
that's
know
culture,
a
that's
guy.
it.
I ran into a guy one time at a factory who told
Indians
me that
don't
story.
wear those.
The Hindus,
Pakistani Sikh.
Yes.
Sikhs.
Yes.
Ah, well, man, that's
And
gonna be rough
I'll
for
give
them.
you a lovely example of fucking racism. Here's one. Because I was overseas and I was dating this girl for a while.
That's a
Fucking-
shock.
It is. It is
A
because I
while
was dating her for a while.
A while.
Yes.
A while. Was that 2 days? 4?
No, actually, we were going for 4.5 months.
I thought he was gonna say.
Wow!
I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna say like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And in fairness,
Yeah.
that's what I would expect as well. She was an absolute sweet girl. I really, really actually liked her.
Mhm.
Her father knocked that on the head because I was a white guy.
Mhm.
Yes, because it's not
I've been there.
within
was-
their.
Yep.
Yep.
He was Pakistani and Sikh.
Yep.
I talked to him, tried to make things smooth over. No interest whatsoever. Did not want
that?
her date. Probably about 2 or 3 days ago, and I said, I am no longer accepting the term reverse racism because every other group doesn't have to accept terms if they don't like them. So, as a white dude, guy with a cock, I'm standing here saying, no longer is there reverse racism. It's either racism or it's not.
Correct.
And if you don't like it, well, you know what? Go fuck yourself and try living in your neighborhood and see how smooth it is.
But that's my main argument, though. We have a culture that comes into a country and then demands that we can't have this of that because it offends them. I'm sorry, you're in a country. We went to your country. We couldn't do that either. And that's my main argument. I'm not saying they can't be here and they can't live their lives. My issue is they can't sit there and change our culture to be what they want.
And I
And
couldn't.
that's my
I
argument.
could not
Picking
agree
and
with you
choosing.
more.
Exactly.
With suits.
Yes, because as you know, I've been in the Middle East. I've been in the Far East. I've been in India. I've been pretty much over most of the world as my travels and such have taken me. And not once
No,
have I been
sorry.
sitting there when I was going through Jordan and going, you know what? I should throw a great big fucking crucifix on myself. And you should have to accept it. No, you shouldn't. I'm in Jordan and I'm going to shut my fucking mouth because you're Muslim.
Yeah.
You see, I gotta tell you, I mean, I don't know much, and I've never been there, but I've seen a little bit about the leader of Jordan and his wife, and this seems like a pretty cool place.
But
It is a great
it's-
place.
It's not,
However,
it's the culture.
the culture of the place is quite cool. It's unfortunately Jordan is now running the way.
And when ISIS
Pardon me,
executed
the
one of their
UAE
pilots
is-
there, and their president or what a king, whatever he is,
It's king.
king, and he's like a fucking former special forces commander, and
Yeah.
he went to work, man.
And
was
do you
cool.
know how many women can drive a car there?
None.
Yeah, fucking zero.
Really?
Yes, because they're not allowed to under Sharia law.
Well, that's
Again, it's a cultural problem
Yeah.
I have here that we actually bend over, take up the ass for everyone that comes in because they want to have their
Sure
life
would
here.
cut down on soccer moms and nerd buses.
That is true.
Jesus.
And you know what? You've got a valid point there.
Or my other favorite is, I'm driving a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive diesel to take my kids to soccer.
But I've never driven anything bigger than a microcar.
That's an offshoot, folks, but yeah, you know.
All right. Well, we scratched that itch anyway.
I guess the theme is so many things in
That's
life
probably not a
don't
good
make
thing. We've
sense.
got comments coming through.
Not a damn thing. 'Cause they're all
Yeah.
going, holy fuck!
Well, we scratched that itch, so I guess we'll see what happens there. I know one of the things that burns my ass is the every
Whoa!
every single time someone tries to say to myself as a guy who, you know, the family's been here for, you know, I don't know, since the late 1700s, and somehow I'm not a Canadian and I don't know what Canadian culture is, and apparently our whole country is supposed to be this super
According to Brian
dynamic.
Mulroney, there is no Canadian culture.
That's bullshit.
And Harper tried when he tried to coin a phrase called "old stock Canadians," and that's
It is.
just kind of that's all kinds of fuck, man. I mean, the people who were hanging out at Tim Hortons in 1970, those are the Canadians.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
And they spoke English. Oh, sorry.
They ate bow ties. They smoked. They smoked cigarettes. They drank
Oh,
coffee.
yeah. I mean, well, back
they
then,
they dealt with winter.
Here's the other difference, Steve. Even if they couldn't speak English,
They
they
tried.
tried.
yes.
They tried. God love them. They tried.
Okay, here's a perfect example. You guys all remember there was an Italian influx that came through in the late 60s. By the time that we were kids, those kids had grown up and they were going to school with us.
Yep.
Now, their parents may have spoken broken Italian, English, but God love them, they fucking tried.
and they were excited that their children would.
Would speak English fully.
Yeah, and they wanted them to get into the stream
They
with
had,
us
they,
and
they
come
had a
through.
pride about it.
That's
and
right.
that's the difference.
I had a teacher in high school, and his name was Mr. Bauhaus. He was very, very Dutch. And
I love Dutch
this
women.
man had been here
Dutch women are hot.
for many
I
years.
haven't had one yet.
And his opinion on immigrants in the late 80s was this. I came here with my little suitcase in my hand. It's all I had.
Mhm.
I've built a life. I've had a family. Leave your crap at home, speak English in public, and teach your children their heritage so that they're proud of it. That doesn't mean put it over everyone else. Appreciate your heritage. Teach your children your mother tongue, but at the same time, we want to hear English. And this is a man that had been here since just after World War II. This is
Mute.
This
Sorry.
opinion was the voice of an immigrant, a guy that came here with literally nothing other than a little suitcase in his hand. And in turn, he brought the rest of his family, he brought his brothers, his sisters, and this is how they raised their kids.
Right. So
And
I
so
just got
on.
a comment, which was, this is a really great show. Shut the fuck up, Kev.
Really?
Yeah. so,
Wonderful.
It was
Who's
not
that
Mike.
from?
It was just you, not Mike. That's surprising.
no, sadly, that was from somebody down in Nova Scotia.
Yar.
But
Thank you, Nova Scotia. You rock. Yeah, that's it. So we were on. Fuck, where are we going? You were making a solid point there. I think that.
And that opinion was the voice of an immigrant.
Hmm.
The essence of an immigrant. Someone who wanted to come here and make their life better and absolutely did in so many ways.
Yep. All right.
The I like that point, and the funny thing is, I just finally buried my grandfather today, and his
My
one.
goodness, Steve, that's a huge step.
Yeah, well, it's the last one of my grandparents, so yeah, that was huge. So the one
that, bro.
no, it's
by the
okay.
way.
No, the one thing that
We all love our grandpa.
the one thing that surprised the hell out of me with him, he came here with nothing, and when he was in his point where he had to not be taken care of, basically, he didn't want to leave the house because that's what he earned. You know, all the
Absolutely.
time in the country, he worked to get a house, independent, a job, everything. And his main thing for him not wanting to leave was because he wanted the house. He didn't want to give up what he earned over those.
Here's an
6 or 7
interesting-
years.
Leave
Here's
to
a-
go where?
Well, he actually went in the hospital and then went to a home and then.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Here's
but my
an
point is,
interesting-
he actually earned he earned. I mean, he came here with nothing from Denmark. He then earned everything he got. His wife, house, kids, everything, and to have him, I don't want to leave because I've earned this. I've actually fought to get this.
Here's an interesting thing that I just talked about, a person that I knew. You're talking about your grandfather. By today's standards, from what I understand here, is that your grandfather was an immigrant. The man that I'm talking about, Mr. Bauhaus, turned himself as an immigrant. By today's standards, if those people immigrated to Canada with only a little suitcase in their hand, they wouldn't be immigrants. They would be refugees because they came here with literally nothing.
Is that the deal though, or is it because they were leaving where they were
They didn't
from?
have anything.
Yeah, but
It was after the war. There was oppression. There was all kinds
okay,
of
there you
things
go. Yeah,
going
all
on.
right, I get it. All right.
They were done.
is there pop in that?
We're not talking about people who applied to come here.
Muffin.
We're not talking about. The lines are so blurred.
I don't want this being this. I need water.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear whispering in the background, it's because Kevin is crying that his drink is too strong.
No, I'm
Sorry,
crying
Muffin,
my drink.
I'll give you a bigger glass.
I'm crying my drink is too fucking sweet because I don't need to drink it with a bunch of soda like little girls.
There you go. Is that
Oh,
good?
thank you, Snuggles. No, that's soda. What the fuck is this?
Just drink your drink, fag. Jesus.
See?
What'd your friend from the East Coast say?
I want water.
Do you want more booze in there?
I want water with my booze.
Well, drink that first.
H2O.
Really?
Agua.
If I want to drink fucking
And for all of you Greek people out there, it's called Nero.
No.
or aqua,
What's Spanish for water? Agua?
agua.
Agua. Yes, I said that.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
we're
French.
I must learn. I don't know what water is in French. Maybe I do after you say it, but
Ooh, what up?
Wait.
What the fuck do I know?
Redwa.
Oh.
Oh?
Oh.
Wow, that's fun.
E-A-U. Lo.
That seems so bizarrely. You think it'd be like RETAW.
No,
Is that where Marlow comes from?
No, Marlow is actually a
region.
region. of
Yeah.
France.
You're
So-
such a wiener. Fuck.
See, I don't even
Shut
know
up.
why
Oh,
did I knew that.
excuse
before
me.
you
Okay, so
even said it.
sorry. having
hold on.
fucking
So Paul says
traveled.
I was asked. You do with Marvel too, so it goes both ways. Come on.
You pull out Marvel information out of your ass, and I pull out information about everywhere else.
Yeah, I just.
So, no, congratulations.
So that makes me more fun, I think.
There
you go.
It
So
does. It
going
also
around
makes
the
you less
table, getting
laid.
back on topic.
Mm.
What else did we find out this week that fascinated us, Kevin?
This week, it's a long weekend. Thank
Kevin?
fucking God.
Personally, for myself, I found out the fascination.
Oh no,
Nothing.
These
You
things-
learned nothing
yeah.
this week.
Actually, no, I did. I learned that
I learned that you really do like skeletons with female faces because we saw that thing on the trail today, and you were like hot, hot, hot.
that
And I'm like,
hot bitch.
oh,
No
my
picture?
God.
nothing
Where's the
hot
picture?
about her.
Oh, we saw
Oh,
this.
man.
milk
She had like
walk by.
zits for tits, man. It was so gross. Ugh.
She had an ass.
Band-Aids
to
holding them up.
snap a fucking coconut.
she
in.
Oh,
didn't. Oh, my
She had
I'm sold.
legs.
Sold.
She
that
had
were-
no muscularity. I mean, if someone had
Bullshit.
man, you're so full
Muscularity.
of shit.
Yes.
Looked like a
Someone had
frog
to drop
wearing
20 pound
Michael,
weight on top
this-
of her, she would have turned into an accordion.
Okay. Actually, pull back one picture.
He
Show
didn't
Mike.
look like that. I was there.
That's right. No way, bro.
Yes,
He
no.
looked like a frog
Hell
wearing
yeah.
pants.
And this took two women to get.
I'll take 5 for
There was
that.
no ass
A
there.
frog in pants.
A frog in pants. There was no ass there. That has an ass.
That's
He was looking at had no ass.
Okay, so
And you know what the difference is? My
Skinny
ass.
women everywhere. Kevin is waiting for you.
That's right,
And
because I'm
no
actually
wrong
in a
with that.
I'm in a position where I can say, at least if we're standing together, I don't make you look like a waif.
Please.
What is a waif?
A waif? Waif is a gammon-looking woman.
Okay, now there you go. I'm glad you said that because in earlier episodes you made that gammon point.
Yeah,
And you made that gammon point,
Yeah.
right.
and I googled it and I got
I
nothing. So what the fuck is a gammon?
Do me a favor. Right now, we're sitting here. You pull up your phone. And,
oh no, you can use Google.
yeah.
You got an hour.
No, you're going to Google the
Sure,
word
sucks here.
gammon body.
What?
See what comes
2
up.
M's?
Service on this
No,
sucks here.
one.
My
Rogers,
Sony was good.
Rogers Bell.
Rogers.
That's why.
Yeah, because 2 M's means ham in
Gammon
French.
bodyguards.
Just
World of Warcraft. Gammon's
hit,
braid.
Hit images wherever that is for gammon.
Okay. I have coins.
Oh.
I have fat people. I have
Okay,
the Queen
try-
of England.
okay,
I have
Try gammon definition.
dudes. I got dudes. I got
This
furniture.
is taking up too much
Okay.
time.
I got a
that's
dude's
all I know.
abs.
Michael. Michael.
Yeah, you're all fucked up.
I know
Try-
a girl or their last
Try-
name
Lost
Gammon.
that. She did.
I'm going to show you exactly.
I
what
know
I'm
you
talking
do.
about. Just because both of you like big tits and fat asses.
Well, hold
That is
on,
not
hold
true.
on, hold
Take
on.
that
I
back.
said
He is a big tit person. His
Both
ass,
of them.
the ass don't matter to him at all.
Take
It's a
that.
big.
No,
tit.
that's a lie.
What?
An ass is beautiful. I love.
Oh,
it.
you do like asses?
Oh, I.
News to me.
Hey,
'cause-
Dave, did you see anything interesting this week that really caught your eye?
Whoa.
Something
Wasn't
provocative?
Wasn't anything to do with asses.
No. Oh, we're trying to get back on
Didn't have
topic,
anything to do
guys.
with
These
tits
two
either.
retards are now busy focusing in on Google and asses.
Because we're
and
trying to
shit.
show
No,
you words. So,
I get- I
in
get-
our
actually watched a program this morning, killing a little bit of time, which I happened across on a couple of books that I've read. And yes, Dave read a book or two on this.
It had pictures, right?
I'm calling bullshit.
Called
It had pictures. It had
called
lots of pictures.
The Dutchman's Mind.
So is it a graphic novel?
No, non-fiction.
Can you do it again?
Non-fiction.
Kevin. Carry on. Keep
Can you
talking.
see this?
No, okay.
And hello. So, anyways,
Oh, fuck you. Give me another picture.
Cheers,
You
yeah.
bastard.
cheers.
Really?
Like,
Like,
see,
what?
come on, we're trying to group picture. Fuck.
There it is, right there.
Why do you do that? Okay, you know what? So, here, so
okay,
here's the
so-
issue. So the girls do duck faces. Mike does say, "Oh my god" face. I don't get that. I still haven't figured it out yet.
It's because I'm shocked at the atrocities that are happening here. Yeah.
He doesn't get out much.
Come on, Dave. You were talking. Come on.
Anyways, it was a real lesson in history. It was about the Spanish-American War. It was about how at one Spain controlled parts of the United States, Arizona,
Where do people find all that
New
show?
Mexico, up into
Actually,
California. It also talked
Oh,
about
on,
the gold that was
Facebook.
expropriated from 17 whatever, and part of this is a treasure hunt story. There's various phases to the story. It's evolved over about 250 years, and anyways, that's what I found fascinating today when I found that, because they figure they have found the spot, and their estimated gold stack, which exceeds approximately 15 acres, is
Oh my god, I'm already falling asleep. What were we talking about?
3,100 tons
That's
of
our test
fucking gold bullion, if that gets your attention.
Yeah, that
Okay.
should, that should
All
get
right.
attention.
All right. Cool.
If you don't want the answer, don't ask, Mike.
Well, fucking just, try to insert tits and ass and swearing in there somewhere,
I thought we excluded that.
No, Mike did.
No, it was
He-
politics
he
and
did it.
religion.
So-
that were out.
Can I tell you what I found fascinating?
You
did
already
twice.
had your chance, didn't you?
3 times at least, I think. So we lost track. Mike,
Boogers? Was it
No.
boogers?
Mine was the
Or was it
fact
shit balls?
that at the Democratic National Convention,
We're going tall.
Here we go. Right into her now.
Oh.
Yeah.
no, at the Democratic National Convention,
Trump was chosen by God to lead the United States from
Nope.
disaster.
that's the Republican National
I
Convention.
watched that video.
That's
I
a
know.
whole nother
I
cluster.
know. It was awesome.
So at the
Before you start talking about the witch, I wanted to talk about the devil. That's all. Go
okay,
ahead.
fair enough.
I'm
because-
sorry. No, she's crazy. We'll leave it at that.
I'm just repeating what I heard on American news.
Actually, I got to say, there was a British guy that said the American election is like going to a fancy dinner, and you have to choose between listeria or having. I forgot what the other.
It'd be really
disease
fun
was.
if you knew what you were going to say before you opened your mouth,
Yeah.
because you had us all set up there.
Yeah, I
and
know, it's
I don't
awesome.
know what listeria is. What is listeria? I've never heard
Listeria is food poisoning.
of it. Okay.
So
Yeah. Or what, diarrhea?
Shit
Yeah,
yourself.
That would
Yeah,
probably
that's
fit, eh?
Yeah,
Shit
that would
yourself
fit.
to death.
Or
That
another
narrows it
form
down.
of extreme discomfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so Clinton has her funnels at the Democratic National Convention, and the woman that was running the Democratic National Convention ended up having to step down because it had been proven through those emails that were
That she
leaked.
had undermined Bernie Sanders.
Exactly. So what is that woman doing now?
Working
now
for Hillary
Hillary
Clinton
Clinton.
as part of her staff.
Okay, so we have
A
somebody
day
that's
later.
actually said, yes, we have corrupted the system, and now I'm working for the person that's running for the new president. Now, don't get me wrong.
Well, I love the completely unprotected server in her home. That
Oh.
one's really fun. Oh, yeah.
And she still does that probably.
So here's the best argument,
She's clearly above the law, so who gives a shit?
and I
And
mean,
not even charged for it. She got off of it too.
I've heard many things about Donald Trump, and the man is a fucking psychotic, crazy bastard.
No, he's a face man. That's all he is.
Yes, he is for the Democrat.
Have you been listening to his rhetoric?
However, yes, because he's spewing out stuff to get people to vote Democrat.
Absolutely. Have you compared him to a figure from earlier in the century?
Oh, God. Come
No.
on.
Wow.
Don't do
Which
that.
one?
Wow.
Which one?
That's so
Wow.
No,
embarrassing.
no, which one?
Dude, I swear to God, I told my kids about this.
The rhetoric.
If you
The
listen,
rhetoric.
if you
No,
listen
this would
to
have
it, no,
if I got a chance to actually
I'm
finish
not.
what my
I
fucking
swear to
segment
God.
I think it's fascinating.
I know you don't watch Fox News, but
I
I swear
think
to
it is
God,
fucking fascinating.
once a week, 52 weeks of the year, someone is compared to Hitler for something they said or did. It's constant, man. The lowest, cheapest blow in politics.
That's not a
Oh
cheap
my God,
blow.
you've demonstrated leadership.
That-
You
that-
resemble Hitler.
No, that is not a cheap blow.
It's got like spray.
Dude was
Hitler-
a successful leader.
Hitler was a fucking genius.
That's what
He
I'm
got the
saying.
masses to vote for him. What the fuck do you think Trump's doing? He actually is spewing.
politician
He actually has people.
What did
in
Justin
line
Trudeau do?
Listening. Well, let's leave that alone. For now.
No, actually, I have to say, actually, Mike's got a valid point.
I
there.
know I do.
For what?
There's very little difference between the way that Trump is running his campaign and the way Trudeau ran his campaign.
Well, that's actually not what I was saying.
No,
but,
it's exactly the opposite spectrum for a belief system, but it's exactly the same way that the campaign was run.
leadership is leadership. You know what? You're. I mean, especially the American game right
Okay,
now.
so
Hold on.
here-
Okay, so you guys seem to forget one very important factor, that these guys that are on the top of the party, that are the person that speaks, they're face people. They're there to fucking speak what they're told to speak, and the advisors do all the work for them in the first place. So whatever he says,
And
he's
I
told to say
actually-
that.
I agree with Steve. However, I think a more important point is you keep using the term leader,
Mm-mm.
and they're not. They're meant to be representatives in a parliamentary
Exactly.
system.
They're a face
And
person.
not
It's all their
being-
face.
They're not being representatives. They're being leaders.
They're
both-
held accountable for their decisions.
No, they're not.
They should.
Bullshit.
Clinton had a fucking email.
That's
fucking,
United States.
Hold on.
Bullshit.
No, they're
Okay.
not.
I call bullshit.
What-
One word, one name.
The profession.
Win.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Win.
Yes. Yes.
Win.
You're right.
No matter what your political stripes are, no matter what area you come from, that is a bullshit artist to run through. I don't care if what she likes, what she doesn't like. The amount of
but
crap
Ontario's
that the
asleep,
public,
man.
that the public has
Ontario's
had to
asleep.
absorb in Ontario from the laws that this woman and her party has pushed through as their agenda are fucking staggering.
But I have to stop.
Staggering.
You. I got to stop.
Absolutely
You.
staggering.
No, I got to stop you. The problem is with democracy. It's twofold. One, it
Stupid
goes.
people get to vote.
It goes
No,
by.
it's not that.
There's,
That's a large problem.
there's two
People
problems.
who don't pay attention get to vote.
Hey, they get to raise kids too. Fuck.
There's two main problems.
No
with
license.
democracy. There's two main
Where's the
problems.
healthcare system? Where's the birth control?
Can you shut up long enough and let me say? Can you do it? Can you
No.
fucking do it?
I have said very little, Mr. fucking Gum, so far.
The problem with democracy is that it's by majority of vote, and unfortunately, majority of vote is confined to an area in Ontario.
God knows I understand that.
And the second and most important part of democracy is, and this is where democracy fails, is that your vote, my vote, Mike's vote, and Steve's vote is equal. And it doesn't matter if one of us is fucking retarded.
I absolutely understand
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, but that's not even the case in the
No,
states,
but-
though,
no,
because they have their is it super PAC or whatever? They're
Oh, no,
different
super-
states with more citizens.
Super delegates.
super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The super PAC and the super
States with
delegate.
bigger
Some of them aren't even
populations.
elected; they're appointed.
Yes, but
Yes.
it runs this exact same in Canada.
Wow.
No,
I just
it
want to
doesn't.
watch porn,
Sure
man.
it does.
You know,
Come
is
on.
it too
Are
much
you-
to
are you
ask to see
honestly-
Wonder Woman in a decent porn video? Like, fuck, I just want to
Actually,
see it.
I got to say that Wonder Woman video that's for the new movie. That's pretty close to porn.
No,
It's
I
awesome.
know. I'm sorry. It's not gonna
Touch
fly.
it.
You're a man.
It's
What are you
Looking
doing
pretty
with your
damn well.
finger while you touch it?
What the fuck are you
Seriously,
talking about? I
there's-
didn't see none of that.
Talking about Wonder Woman.
I know. I
I'm
didn't
talking
see
dirty
that.
about
What-
Wonder Woman.
What video did you see? I didn't see
My
that.
imagination.
Oh.
if for one moment you think that Canadian politics is slightly better than American politics, you are so fucking
Fuck
deluded.
no, it's way
mind-boggling.
worse.
Oh,
It's sleazier.
Which?
Canadian politics.
Oh yes, by far.
Absolutely, it's way sleazier.
Yes, and you have more fucking sheeple that are running up to the gates.
Vanessa's listening.
You know, the best thing I ever saw was they they had a picture, and it was the opening up for the DNC convention, but it could have been for the RNC convention. It could have been for the Liberal convention. It could have been for the
DNC?
Conservatives.
Is that an operation?
Democratic National
Justin and a
Convention.
cleaner?
Yes.
Douche face.
It was the same thing. It was a bunch of shit.
What you say?
Dustin and a cleaner.
A group of
I think I saw that
a
part
group of
movie.
sheep being herded in, and they will believe it. You know yourself. You live in Ontario. How many people tell you, "Oh, I'm a liberal"?
Oh,
Then
fuck.
you're fucking not qualified to vote.
Why?
The same reason if you tell me you're a conservative, you're not qualified to vote.
But why?
Yeah, because you've already decided.
Because you're
You're not
indoctrinated.
You're not listening
even
anymore.
listening.
You're just
Decided
fucking already.
without thought.
You have
chosen
picked a
something
color.
by
which is
a
where
color.
which is where I find funny because the U.S. if you are a Republican or a Democrat, you are locked in. You can't change.
That's not true.
No, it is. No, it's very the
difference, I have to agree.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah.
Locked
yeah,
in and you're
oh,
not?
no, it's very very different. than up here.
Yeah.
Up here, you can say I go to polls and I vote.
Like I
Down
like,
there,
no,
Hey, here's
sorry.
a question, legitimate question.
Sorry, can I just
no,
qualify?
let me
I
throw this out
completely
there. A
disagree.
legitimate
I
question.
agree
Are
with
any
what
of
you
you
did.
guys already decided? Like, can any of you say like, "Oh my God, I'm conservative. I'm a fucking liberal"? Any one of you?
I can tell you
Card carrying member
I can tell you what card carrying member I actually am, yes.
of what?
Of a political party.
In the lifetime I've been alive.
You like the? Let me guess. You like the anarchist party?
No, God, no. I'm a libertarian.
What the fuck is it? What's a liber? Is it so you're like the gay liberals?
No.
Google it.
Libertarians stand for the least amount of government that can be influencing day-to-day life situations by people.
I like that one.
That sounds good.
And
mine's
it's,
worse than
it's
that.
actually what the people that wrote the fucking Constitution of the U.S. were about.
Basically,
Really?
it's what George
Yeah.
Carlin said: legalize everything
Yeah.
and let Darwin sort it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So take all warning labels off. No more warning labels.
Mm.
Exactly.
It solves the population problem right there.
But doesn't that describe like present day Africa
No.
No.
or Afghanistan?
No. Well, no. I
The big, the fucking, the
so-
tough guy on the
so the
corner
middle-
takes everybody's milk
No.
money.
No, okay, hold
and,
on.
I mean, I'm a
You're-
big George Carlin fan. I love that guy. I think he's brilliant,
confusing the
especially
fact-
on his thoughts on religion. I
Let
think
me
he's fucking
describe
genius.
this as a libertarian turns around and says,
This guy off. This guy ain't just me off.
there are 7 or 8 laws that need to be made. After that, the rest are extraneous bullshit. And this
Like
is what-
I can't take my kids down to the lake to fish.
Okay.
I have to pay money.
right.
Oh, don't take your scooter
That's
out
an
on the
extreme-
trail. You got to pay money.
Right. However, there are
It's called
certain
milking.
there are certain laws that can be made in a reasonable society. You turn around and say, okay, we should have no murder. I'm not killing. I said no murder. There should be no rape. Rape can be pretty much easily defined by most people. There should be no child molestation. We just have to decide on an age as a child, and then we have that. Boom. We don't need 15 laws to decide that. We just need to decide, you know what? She's under 14. You
All we
fucking
need
nail
is
that
an
prick to a
outline.
cross. That's what a libertarian does. A libertarian believes that the more laws
Yeah.
decided by government.
That sounds more and more. You know what? That
So-
sounds like a fucking hut on the side of the hill in Afghanistan. Though I don't
Yeah.
like
So
that.
hold on.
Okay,
So
let me ask you this.
I don't like that.
Okay, let me ask him this.
I'm. We
Please.
can't get a word at Joanne because they're those talking. So give me a
Okay.
second.
So
Oh,
let's
stop pouting.
Let's say, for instance,
Love you.
there should be
Ouch.
Michael.
Dumbass.
You're the one that wants to argue this point, so come up. And
Listen
play.
up. Listen
Thanks.
up, motherfucker.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I said there should be no murder, but we don't specify below that. So,
Well, no, my comments were more about the rape thing, but
Okay, let's take.
come
rape.
on. I mean, all I'm doing is just trying to be an adult here and say, look, come on. The application of the rule of law is never that simple.
Ah,
No.
hold on.
no.
You said the application. The rule of law is very.
Someone has to enforce it. So someone has to find out or determine where the dividing line is.
But
It's
that's-
easy for
but
us to
that's-
sit here
that's-
and
but
kick
it's
around
always
ideas.
Gray. There's no black and white in most.
Yeah,
of that
but
stuff.
if
There
your
is-
ass is on the line to go to prison for
Agreed.
or
No, I'm
go
not
to
arguing that.
execution,
Yeah.
you
no.
want to make sure that line is not fucking gray.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but-
But you don't need 6 different levels of that law.
No, you don't.
You need a fucking design
white.
that says this is it or this is not. Now, if you walk out there and you punch her in the fucking head or you push that girl down and you take her, that's rape. No debate. Now, you two are drunk.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gray.
We get into a gray area.
That's gray.
But do you need 6 more levels of law for that? Or do you need a law where you have a deciding factor?
Now, I hear what you're saying. I'm no law student, but isn't the existence of those levels of law to increase the confidence of the population
Has it?
in
No.
the system.
Has it?
No, those levels of law are basically.
That's-
Okay, hold on.
That's a
Those,
different conversation.
those level of laws are there.
Isn't
because-
that the point? So
Those-
that people can
okay? Can
like that poor cop that. Sorry, Steve.
Let me
jump in.
Yeah, there
Those
you go.
levels of
Those
law are heavily influenced.
You go
also,
ahead, Steve.
sorry, Steve. By
level-
how much cash is in your bank account?
The levels of law are actually based on previous discoveries or court cases.
True.
Most of them are actually based on the fact
Precedent.
that exactly. So back then they had this happened here, so you can't do that. So now they have these levels of law. It was black and white at one point, and then the lawyers came along and said,
Precedent. Yeah, we said
Yeah.
that. What's
You
the
hit
point?
it right there,
Exactly.
Steve.
That's
And
what
then
it
the
is.
lawyers came along. We just had a case where a cop
Yes.
"Yes."
That's I was going to mention that. Yeah.
was convicted.
From 3 years ago
Mhm.
Yes.
for shooting that kid on the bus, where he put 2 mags into the poor kid.
So, but what was he convicted of?
Well, because it wasn't premeditated,
second degree,
it was
wasn't it?
second. Yeah.
Or manslaughter.
He was convicted of manslaughter for the murder of somebody.
And the worst part is, I guess.
So
you
which
know,
is it?
hold on.
Well, because of the
Hold on.
definition of the
And
murder.
I
Which is
understand.
it?
If I sit down 2 months from now,
What
if
is
I,
the definition of murder?
Hold on. I just guessed. I
I deliberately took time out of my day to plot that shit, calculate it, and it's evidence that I know that in a week you're going to be in your
Manslaughter is
fucking
not
car and I
murder.
blow you
Hold
up.
on. There's a difference though.
The
So-
cop.
So the problem is we have first degree, which is premeditated.
Yes.
Second degree, which is not, and then manslaughter, which is a catch-all. Literally a catch-all. If it's not 1 or 2, it's manslaughter.
But here's the killer with this particular situation is that that's decided by law that because the first 3 bullets that were fired into this kid more than likely killed him. Right? No, this is what the judge said. The first 3 bullets more than likely killed him as far as the judge was concerned by what was given to him by the pathologist. Therefore, the remaining 5 shots that were put into this kid
5 tries later.
would not have killed him,
No,
but he was firing them with the intent as if the kid was alive.
I would.
So you have just been charged with killing somebody that the judge said you couldn't have killed, but you had the intent to kill, so you should be charged with attempting murder, even though the person was probably dead already. This is the fuck up of lawyers, and this is why they should be lynched.
No, it's not. It's not the lawyers.
Sure, it is.
It's also the cops.
No, it's
no,
the
it's also
lawyer.
the cops
Oh,
too.
please.
No, the cops
Yeah.
have a factor in that.
No,
Don't forget,
the
the cops are the
can-
ones that are
No, he
applying the
didn't.
charge.
I don't think you heard what he just said.
No, the cops can only follow what the law is.
Yeah.
If you have a law that says by your first 3 shots that have killed him, but you fired the 4th shot, so you're attempting to kill him even though he's already dead, this is nothing to do with the cops. And I have issues with police, and I have pros for police as well. However, in this case, this is nothing
It's
more
a thankless job.
than a legal system
Like most of those ones.
that is deciding things by legalese, not by common sense.
Holy fuck.
And that's where the
Back
failure is.
Do not
Yes, you have a problem with
back
that.
the fuck up. Do not tell me that this is some bullshit thankless job. Do not tell me that everyone who wears a fucking badge is a hero, because you know what? They're not. They chose their career. They chose their profession. End of story. End of fucking story. They chose their career and they chose
Steve and
their
Kevin leave the
profession.
room. All right.
No, actually, Steve and I are going out for a smoke, but I agree with Dave. You two are.
And actually, I don't care.
Steve runs away because he doesn't give a shit and wants to drink.
Just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I believe that. I mean,
So you're telling me that 2 cops in a cop car who are averaging $75 an hour each is
but the
justified.
rate of pay is irrelevant, though, right?
It's totally irrelevant.
How so? Well, again,
That-
where are we
that-
even
that-
going? I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
That is the type of person who is attracted to that job. Most of them that I have encountered, and I've encountered lots, are attracted to that job, A, because they have the wrong personality trait because they're looking for some sort of identity. And secondly, the rate of pay is so fucking high compared to what it is that they're actually qualified for or to do, is completely out of whack. You have so-called qualified officers patrolling our highways who are supposedly qualified to patrol our highways and to enforce Highway Traffic Act, all kinds of things. We already have a ministry in place. It's called the Ministry of Transportation to police our highways and enforce the Highway Traffic Act. Hand out fines, carriers, when it comes to commercial trucks, are compliant with laws. Now you have a whole layer of other police involved. Not only that, when it comes to the police and the OPP specifically in Ontario, they're disproportionately represented. You have the OPPA, which is called the Ontario Provincial Police Association. What does that say to you when you hear that acronym? Would that say to you that that is the police union that represents
No, not at all.
the constables and the police of the province?
No, when I hear an association, I hear that it's a group of people that are in that trade as they support each other.
It's not. It is their union that represents them. What other career can you have that you can be accused of a wrongful action? You can have a paperwork screw up, if you want to call it that. You can be accused of behavior that is so outrageous that in any other part of society, you would either be shunned, relieved of your duty, and not paid, or just plain out and out fired. Not within that system. No. Officer off with pay. Well, these cases, these cases are
But
now.
we put them out there, right? I mean,
No. They choose the career. They choose the
that's
system
fine, but
that they work in.
that doesn't automatically make them a victim. They're the person who picked up
They're
the
not
mantle.
being victimized at all.
They picked up the mantle to represent the rule of law in a certain situation. Now, dude,
Most of them don't even know the law.
I'm getting that there are crooked cops out there and there's fucking assholes out there, but we're talking. I hope we're talking about the. I don't want to say theoretical, but how it's supposed to work. And the notion is, as I understand it, and I'm no fucking master on this subject, but that the individual wearing that uniform who's been commissioned by, I don't know, the Queen, the province, whoever, has been put into that situation. They didn't get out of bed, half in the bag, drunk, whatever, show up to a situation, pull out a gun and shoot someone. This is a person. This is, well, we kind of are, because if in a certain situation where, like you say, something goes wrong, now they're without pay. So cop shows up to a situation.
Pay. They're off with pay.
Depends.
That's my point.
Depends on the circumstance. Right?
They are, until proven otherwise.
But the
they are
point
off
being,
with
the
pay. What
reason
other
why,
professions? Do you
the
get that in
reason
your-
they are of their own free will. They're there because
they
the
are.
job sent
They
them
are
there.
absolutely there of their own
The job
free will.
sent them there.
They are there of their own free will and
If you
accord
showed up-
because they accepted the circumstances and the environment in which they work, just like I do and just like you do. Except they don't get held to the same accountability as you and I.
Because they're taking on different risks and they're
Really?
representing the community.
Really?
Totally. That's their job.
Well, when you were in Afghanistan and someone was thinking that they were going to maybe shoot you, you accepted that going into the job, didn't you?
That is, yeah, that's the job.
Well, all of a sudden they're like, well, no, we can't accept any responsibility. All there is glorified tax collectors. Do you know how many layers of the OPP there are?
I hope that's
Layer after layer.
I hope
Because here's the secret
that should
to
be
the
a
equation.
protection of corruption. I would hope.
Really? Well, why are they only reactionary instead of?
Well, I would say that would be because, you know, when you're the guy who's in the breach, you're out there doing the job. If you've got a bean counter following you at every step,
I'm not talking about a bean counter.
well, totally you are though. I'm totally answering your question. If dude is out there dealing with the threat, he's got to look at, say, you know, a little punk or criminal dude. You know, all those videos on YouTube of the traffic cop who pulls people over. And how fast can you tell if it's a threat? You've seen those videos? man, the guys that there are some people that are Simple Simon, they're
threat.
super nice, and then all
We're
of a sudden,
talking about Canada, not the United States. First of all, we're not a gun carrying. We're not
but
a
that
gun carrying
doesn't
society.
minimize the threat. That's part of their job. That's
It
the
totally
risk they're
minimizes
taking
the
on.
threat. It totally minimizes
Because
the
we're in
threat.
Canada. No,
Absolutely. Not everyone's carrying a gun in Canada, Mike.
not it. Well, that
Every citizen in certain states is allowed to carry a gun. That maximizes the opportunity for shit to happen. But at the same time, they chose their career.
no, that's no bullshit. No. Because they chose their
Bullshit what?
because they chose their career. Somehow it's okay for someone to shoot them, or if
No.
they shoot back, then all of a sudden they're not. They
I'm
don't
not
deserve
saying
any.
that's okay at all, but they knew the circumstances going in.
That doesn't
And
matter. They are our.
It doesn't matter.
They're
It
our.
totally matters.
They don't get a free for all. They don't get a free for all.
It
That's where you're going. Right?
totally matters.
They don't
if
get
you
a free
are
for all.
attracted to that career, and those are the circumstances that you want to work under that have been established for God knows how long, that it's a dangerous job.
Then what?
But look at me.
Then
Look
what?
at me.
No. Finish that. Then what? Then what? It's your
Then
fault
you-
if you go out there and fuck
No,
up.
you have accepted the circumstances in which you work under.
Yes.
I didn't become a cop because
But-
I did not want to accept those
But there's another
circumstances.
step. There's another step to where
What
you're
step
going.
is that?
No. The point you're making. But there's another
I have to
place you were
listen
going
for
to
a minute
there,
to find out what's going on.
So do I.
which is what did they do wrong? Why is it that they need to be held under such a hammer for holding up crooked cops? Bad, sure. They
It's
need to get
crooked
shit.
everywhere, so that's given.
And how on earth is that right?
I didn't say it was right. It's
Okay.
given.
Oh, okay. The trains of thought cannot be completed on this show. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. If you
No,
find
fourth
yourself,
drink, which is about now 8th drinks.
if you find yourself, is anyone listening to the show right now?
I'm not near the PC.
I hope not.
Yes, my cousin is.
I really hope not. Really, is that Paul Sullivan? Is that your
Yes.
cousin? Hi, Paul.
There's actually 3
Yeah.
viewers.
Hey,
We've
man.
got 3
We
viewers.
got 3. Oh, Jesus.
Help us,
Guys, me and
God.
Dave arguing, but we're drinking, so we haven't been able to finish our thoughts. Dave feels that fuck cops, that they're doing their job, but they should not be what?
Hold on, back up. That's your definition.
Okay.
You talk about whatever.
I love
You-
cops.
you-
Cops are great.
I don't.
I get
They're
that.
nothing but
I'm-
glorified goddamn tax collectors, most
Okay.
of them.
So can I step in for a second?
Sure.
Because you're both fucking wrong.
Nah, fuck you.
If you're going to sit here and
Cops are
say,
great. I love them.
if you're going to sit here and say,
I will support cops until they show me a reason why I shouldn't.
if you're going to sit here and say cops are great, you're a moron. And if you're going to say that all cops are
I'm
corrupt,
over-
you're a moron.
I'm not saying all cops are corrupt. I'm saying the system that they work in is fucked up.
Nobody's disagreeing with that. However,
I'm also saying that they use their position to justify their existence.
Oh,
More managers, more minions
Hey,
under,
so
more
that-
management.
that-
We have more cops. We have more control.
so that sounds like politicians. Oh, go figure.
exactly.
but
And we
to,
wonder why the system's fucked.
to be pro comp is foolish because the vast majority of cops are not pro one way or another.
Let's not
They're-
oversimplify.
Yeah, exactly.
I support the
They're
role
there
of
for
the
a
police officer.
Paycheck.
The police
An
officers
inflated
that are,
paycheck.
you know what? I support them in their role and doing what they're doing. No, bullshit. No, I do support the police officers.
The
They-
role,
you
the
can
role
have
of the
your
majority of police officers is. a great
I'm
role.
on pro cops. I'm good. Don't bust my ass. Thank you.
I'm not, but I'm also not anti-cop. I think the majority of police that go into it.
I think people that step up to the breach, yes, they make more money than the average dude, and maybe that's a little suspect. Having, especially with the overtime. Having said that,
Actually, we're talking about though only,
I think
only
they
Ontario
should
Provincial
be
Police.
supported, man. You know,
Oh, you're not talking about locals?
Ontario Provincial Police are
Or
the only
RCMP?
people that make the. Sorry, you're right. Ontario Provincial Police and RCMP are the only people that make the exceptional amount of money compared to the rest of North
well,
America.
the RCMP got overtime too. I think.
Oh, no,
And
they
that-
get a shitload of money.
That's
And,
what I-
and their regime is huge.
No, that's
I know
what I was saying.
Trying in there.
They're
The-
what?
To get into RCMP is not easy.
Oh, their
The
regime.
regime is like to get into there is like a 3-year, 5-year. It's brutal.
The OPP, the QPP, and the RCMP are
QPP?
exceptionally. Yeah,
Quebec.
the Quebec Provincial Police.
They exist.
Yep.
Yes,
In Quebec.
they are
Well,
phenomenal.
I wasn't sure it's still part of Canada still. I'm gonna figure that out.
They're phenomenally overpaid
I wanna
compared
sing.
to the rest of the police.
Yes.
That's-
Yep.
If you consider police anywhere else in the country or anywhere else in the world, you've got poor boys that are working down there, or sheriffs down in the southern U.S., and those people are making basically, $2-3 above minimum wage. Up here, you have OPP that are pulling in, on average, somewhere between 75 and 90,000 a year. That's a ridiculous amount of money for what they do when you consider the
Sit in the cars,
lack of
clapping
threat
their
that they have. And anybody that wants to say that an OPP or RCMP in Ontario has a great deal of threat is
The
full of
lack of
shit.
threat
Yes. Now,
because of what?
no.
Because they watch the highways.
Can I finish?
There's threat.
Okay.
What
Do me a
threat?
favor. Why don't you Google up how many
Is there
What?
bikers?
are you going to let me finish?
How many of them are carrying firearms, Mike?
I'm going to interject, but carry on.
Great.
Let him finish
Now,
first.
why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you Google up on your fancy little phone there, and you tell me how many OPP.
I don't like the condescending way in which you addressed my phone.
Not even that. Asking to do Google, be here for an hour.
Police.
You may
I really don't like it when you ask them questions.
So do me a favor. Google up on the phone and tell me how many.
Thank you for correcting your addressing of my
How many
phone.
police officers have been killed in Ontario in the last year?
OPP?
It doesn't matter.
No, police officers.
Doesn't matter.
Yes,
Absolutely
no.
matters.
Stop.
Totally doesn't
It
matter.
absolutely
Of course it
matters.
does.
No.
Because
Doesn't
you're telling me this
Bullshit.
is a high
You're
risk.
indoctrinated then.
You told me this is a high risk job.
Mhm.
Now, when you have more people,
Is death the only form of injury a cop can deal with? How many drunk people have broke their nose, or they have to deal with all the shit that we don't want to look at?
anymore because they call 5 or 6 at a time and they show up to deal with the problem. They don't get anywhere near them, and
Doesn't mean they don't
fucking
get
tase them.
hurt. Oh my god, you guys are crazy.
no,
I've
Just-
watched it, Mike.
hold on.
Yeah.
Blow smoke up my ass.
I'm not blowing smoke up
Hold
your
on,
ass.
just-
I've watched it over and over.
Can I possibly, by chance, get an answer to this question?
You try.
Dave
but
needs
he's
another fucking drink.
How many cops in Ontario have been killed in the last year compared to how many people that have worked in the
Death is
construction
not the
industry?
only measure of.
Listen to him.
Okay. So since you refuse to actually answer that question,
Hit me. I'll answer it. Bring it to me.
no, you didn't, because you refused to actually
look it up.
Look it up.
Somebody.
Why am I looking it up? 'Cause if
So-
you do it, we hear all
Because
night.
you're the computer guy.
No, 'cause he's here y'all fucking night.
All right. What's the question? How many cops have died in
Be here
Ontario?
all day
Yeah.
tomorrow if I do it.
In 2016,
2015.
Ontario.
Sure. We'll do 2015.
Police deaths. Fallen officers in Ontario.
so once
Looks
you
like-
once you realize the number's 0,
Yeah, actually, the way they fallen, Bancroft's got 1. Burton's
Holy
got
shit.
1. Chatham's got 2. Coburg's got 1. Collingwood's got
No,
1.
I got from 1961 to 2009, and it's
from 1961.
to 2009.
Okay, so how many years are we talking?
Total line of duty
40
254,
40 years.
accidental 3.
So in 40 years, how many?
Well, it's not a total, but the highest so far is like 11.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't
But
matter.
hold on,
Yes,
1961.
it does matter.
Does.
eventually.
Totally
Hold
matter.
on,
It doesn't.
but
Bullshit.
from like
No.
1930,
Totally matter.
1993.
Yes, it does.
How so?
Can I finish fucking
Numbers.
speaking?
No, you can't, because Michael's already decided.
1993 to 2009, the max is 5, but average are probably about 1 or 2.
1 to 2 a year. How many people die in construction accidents in a year?
A hell of a lot more than that.
How many people die in? Actually, I'll tell you what.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do Google.
Please, one more. Google how many people in
But
Ontario
you're missing
die
the
by
point.
lightning strikes.
At one point.
Do they move the hazard line in the factory where a bad thing could happen because the chances are less? No.
Yes.
The line is there so that you don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? If you're working at, say, hear the story of the kid who worked in the bakery, and you have those big old school bakery that, and remember George used to have one, and where you put the steel plates over top of,
Yeah.
and it would roll the dough.
Yeah.
Because once a kid who was a teenager at a job, and this is it's a powerful thing, he got his
Yeah.
hand caught, and in an entirely gruesome scenario,
Right.
Suck them in.
he got pulled in and he died.
Yes.
So from then on out, forever, those plates were mandated to be on that thing so that would never happen again.
If they choose to use them.
No, that's the mandate.
So
Choosing
okay.
is different.
Okay,
That's
so
the mandate.
that's
Now
the
by law has to be there.
Yes,
I hope.
No, okay. So just for the sake of argument, yes, that's the mandate. Yeah.
If in the role of that job, that thing that's in that car that you just pulled over can kill you, that is now the standard you must protect against. That's how it is. It doesn't matter the likelihood.
So you're saying by that logic, then, you should be able to make your retirement plan on a lottery ticket because the odds are,
No.
as you're saying, because
I
the odds
really
are
hope
there.
that our society is a bit
So
stronger.
Vanessa's really good.
So how many?
Vanessa came up with 10 to 20 a year by lightning.
Thank you.
I actually got total from.
And how many cops?
Hold on. My total was like not that many.
No, it's two.
We should be leaning in favor of them. I mean,
No,
Whoa! Back the fuck
no,
up.
we don't. No, we don't
Back
give
up.
them license to abuse your rights.
They do, Michael.
I'm sure they do.
They do, Michael.
I'm getting that from you. We
They
don't give
do.
them license to do that,
They have,
and that's
license
not
to
what
do
I'm
that.
talking about.
actually,
They have
the
license to
Ontario
do that.
government has done that because, okay, what reasons do you need to accept being pulled over by a cop?
Infraction.
No reason.
Well,
Zero.
okay.
Zero.
If they have suspicion, yeah.
Zero.
No,
Zero.
If I look like someone
Nope.
who did something,
no,
that's like the bare minimum, right?
no. There's no bare minimum.
Mm-mm.
They're allowed to pull you over for whatever reason they feel. They can pull you over just because they want to. There's no reason as of 2014 why the police have to pull you over. You have to accept it.
I get that.
Don't tell me
So
that
you're-
that's fair.
You're saying
Don't
that
tell me that that is.
the police
We're
should be
living in a
allowed to
just
pull you
society,
over
and this is how this works.
for no reason.
Please, don't tell me that. Because if that is what you truly believe,
Sorry,
then
just
that you're
Dave,
so far indoctrinated that
Dave, stop and let him answer.
What about the snowmobile trail?
No,
I would love to go buy a snowmobile.
no, go
And
back
just
to the
drive it.
original
You need
question.
snow first. That's the one.
The
problem.
question was, the police do not now need the reason to pull you over as of 2014. They can pull you over on their whim. Is that good?
Is it good?
Is it acceptable?
Is it necessary?
Is it right?
whoa. I gotta shut up.
Let him answer.
I gotta shut up.
Well, why would they? I would assume what do cops do? They're dealing with higher levels of criminals.
Whoa.
If a
Whoa. Where did
That'd
you
be
get
a
that
sub-
from?
Organized
Watching
crime.
an episode of CSI here.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting.
We're
So
talking
you-
about a kid. We're talking about a cop driving around in a marked fucking cruiser. Are they doing a crime scene investigation?
No.
do they not share information on how, say, maybe 2 blocks away, a guy in a
Yeah.
black truck
Yes.
shot
But-
someone in
but-
the face?
But
Yes.
I've been
Some-
pulled-
Now they're
hold on.
driving down the road and they see me and they go, "Fuck, maybe I'll pull that guy over and
Yeah.
see if he was
So
involved."
that's fine.
And if I
But-
pull him over and talk to him and he's a little fucking high strung, maybe I'll take a closer look.
When did
So
that
what-
happen where you live?
Can I interject, please, for
Fuck, too
fucking
much.
2 seconds? Because Mike talks doesn't stop.
When did
Thank
they
you.
not have to have a reason?
Mike
Hold on.
talks and doesn't stop.
No, he doesn't stop. So I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that. But I've been pulled over when I was younger because I was in a red car that fit the description of a certain robbery in the area.
But now you don't need to be. You're just
Yeah.
in a car.
And that's fair, Steve.
That's
I
not
would
wrong,
I would
Steve.
accept that set of
You look like a
circumstances.
suspect. Fine.
Okay,
They pull
but-
you over.
But
You
if
work
you're
the
driving-
I
guy,
look like a suspect.
and then they let you go, right?
Mike, that's
Ish.
fine.
There you go.
Mike, we agree with you. Mike? Michael, we agree with you.
I don't have to make eye contact. I hear you. We're radio.
Now, the cop pulls you over because he doesn't like your style of car. Is that right?
No.
What about if he pulls you over because he drove?
All right, we're descending down the rabbit hole here.
No, we're not.
This is because it's not a fun show anymore.
No, I agree with that. But
So
I
let's
will.
just
Serious
fucking move
show.
on. I don't think anything I say is gonna, move you one way or the other.
You're right.
Listen, crooked cops are wrong. Cops should not have the right to abuse citizens, and I think that.
but you
and
just said they did.
what I'm
You just said
I
that
didn't say they can abuse. No bullshit. No, I did not say that.
If they can
They
pull
have
you
a
over
blank
for
check
no
to do what they
reason,
want, Mike.
then that's abuse.
And
Yeah,
that's
but they're
okay.
checking you out.
But it's necessary.
For no reason.
How is it necessary to give them a blank check? We employ them.
They're in for no.
Our
yeah.
tax dollars
We pay for
employ
them. The
them.
government.
Our tax dollars employ them.
Which
So
is
the
representative
power,
of people.
the people are supposed to be represented by the government. The police are there to look after elements of society that are not acting in accordance the way they should.
And how do they know who they are?
So they should just be allowed to randomly do it?
What's a random stop? What's a fucking card check? What's
there's
a
the whole
random
problem.
step?
It's called
traffic
privacy,
stop?
for fuck's sake.
So they should be allowed
So
to
they should just leave everybody alone and mind their own
Unless
business
there's a
until
reason,
someone
fuck
says
off.
there's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless
Wow,
there's a reason.
that's
fuck
a
off.
rosy world. I like
Sure.
that. Let's
So
do it.
by your logic, they should be allowed to come into your house when they want to check it.
No way in
That's
fucking hell.
not where we. said
Why
that,
not?
no.
Well, you implied
Well, why
that.
not, Mike? They're
What-
allowed to come into your residence.
you guys
with
are
an
on
extension of your home.
You
No,
guys
your
are on
vehicle.
glue. You're clueless.
If a cop is
But I
driving,
love you.
if a cop is driving along and feels that you're doing something wrong, he should be allowed to pull you over. Is what you're saying?
What's
If
a
they're
what's
bored,
Shut.
What's a
she's
pullover?
bored, she's
Let
not-
him-
What's a
let him-
pullover? What's a pullover? Checking your ID? Do you have
But he pulls you
Doesn't-
over. It's
doesn't
still- it's
matter.
Still,
He stopped you and pulled you over to check your ID. He's checked your driver's license,
Sure.
etc.
if he's
whether you're
harassing
getting
you,
hit while you're
no.
driving or
what
not.
does somebody do?
So is
Get
that-
his name and badge number and call his boss,
No,
and then he
so-
can't come fucking near you for what? 3 months?
Yeah,
6
I'm
months?
not
Well,
doing
like-
that. I'm
Is
not
that
doing
how it
that.
works?
So
No.
so you're saying that's okay?
Really? That's what you think?
He can pull you.
No.
He can pull you over on a whim. Yes or no?
Why? I like
'Cause they feel like
that's
it.
kind of a like why?
You're wearing
why?
a blue hat.
What's the purpose?
Because right now they're allowed to pull you over on a whim as of 2014. So
Mhm.
you think that's acceptable?
I don't know.
Well,
I,
A little
I
while
think
ago,
you
you
did.
used the term necessary.
well because what are they doing? They don't just scratch their ass and say I don't like you and pull you over.
Really?
Or do
Yeah,
they?
Why not?
Do
Have
they?
you met a lot of cops?
It's in a bad mood. They had a bad day. They're gonna pull you over if they want to have some fucking fun.
Okay, this show's not going on the air. Shut it down.
This show's
Shut it down.
never going on the
Shut
air.
it down. Turn it off now. Turn it off.
We're done.
Are you backing into what the fucking cops say here?